Hello everybody, in this video we're going to talk about a special right triangle known as the 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So let's see how the legs and the hypotenuse of the 30, 60, 90 triangle relate to one another. So if we start with our shorter leg is going to be opposite of the 30-degree angle because the shorter leg is opposite of the smaller angle. So we're just going to use x for right now. So whatever x is, we can build off of that measure to find the hypotenuse and the longer leg. So now our hypotenuse is 2 times the shorter leg. So that's what we see right here. Hypotenuse equals shorter leg times 2. And our longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So these are kind of the two equations that we need to remember. And we can use either one of these just depending on what piece of the triangle is already given to us. Okay, so hypotenuse is equal to shorter leg times 2. And the longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So let's look at a couple examples where we use those equations. So for number 1, or for both of these, we want to find the values of x and y. So for number 1, we are given the longer leg, right? The longer leg is opposite of the larger angle. So we need to find the shorter leg and we need to find the hypotenuse. So if we look back at our two equations, we have the longer leg, so let's use this second equation. So let's say our longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. And let's just plug in the information that's given to us in our diagram. The longer leg is equal to 9, the shorter leg is equal to x, and so now we can go ahead and divide both sides of this equation by the square root of 3. Okay, so now we have 9 divided by the square root of 3. And remember from Algebra 1, we cannot leave a radical that does not have a perfect square radicand in the denominator. So we have to do what's called rationalizing this denominator. So if you want to review how to do that, I'll post a card in the top right hand corner right now. So basically we want to multiply both sides, or the top and the bottom of this fraction 9 over root 3 by root 3 over root 3 because that's equal to 1, right? So it's not going to change the value, but it's going to get rid of this denominator that has a radical. So in the top we just have 9 root 3, and in the bottom square root of 3 times the square root of 3 would just be 3. And now we can simplify that because we have 9 divided by 3, and we can say this is 3 root 3. Okay, and that was our shorter leg. So we can write this right here. 3 root 3 would be our length there. And so now we need to find our hypotenuse. So if we think back to our two original equations, we have the shorter leg now, and all we need to do is multiply that by 2 to find the hypotenuse. So we can say the hypotenuse is equal to the shorter leg times 2. So the hypotenuse is y. Shorter leg we just found is 3 root 3, and we just need to multiply that by 2, and simply we get 6 root 3. So we add that to our diagram. Okay, so x is 3 root 3, our smaller leg is 3 root 3, and our hypotenuse, or y, is equal to 6 root 3. Now let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, we are given the hypotenuse. So let's start with our equation that deals with the hypotenuse, which would be the top one there. So we're just going to say the hypotenuse is equal to the shorter leg times 2. So the hypotenuse is 30, our shorter leg is y. How do I know that's the shorter leg? Well, hopefully we can tell by looking at it, but also it is opposite of the smaller angle. So now this is y times 2. And now we can just divide both sides of this by 2, and we get y equals 15. So our shorter leg is 15 here. So now we have our shorter leg, and we want to find the longer leg. So if we look back at our two equations, longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So now we can write the longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So our longer leg, we don't know what that is. That is x. Shorter leg we just found was 15 times root 3. And so now we can just write those next to each other and say x is equal to 15 root 3. And we can add that to our diagram there. Okay, and so that is how you solve this missing legs or the hypotenuse for a 30, 60, 90 special right triangle.